The pledges they made to us about cleanliness just haven't stuck.
Oh, well, plenty of other things have. We're talking filthy crates and your food being delivered in them. A quarter of us do all or most of our food shopping online, and Asda, with nearly 40% of that market, is one of the biggest players. But we've discovered that their deliveries can arrive with a few unwelcome extras.
Got some cobwebs in this one.
Like lots of supermarkets now, Asda's online deliveries arrive like this, with loose products. So they're not in the plastic bags that you might have seen in the past. They phased that out in July. And obviously that's really good for the environment, isn't it, if we're using less plastic? But not so great for the state of your weekly shop. With the bags gone, your food is now packed directly into the crates, ready to pick up whatever's been left behind from the previous deliveries. And it's driving some customers nuts. Let me show you some of the tweets when we got an Asda delivery. It was a big order and every crate had mould at the bottom. It was disgusting. Or this one, I had to wash every item I received because they were so dirty. I mean, it's not good, is it? So Carol got in touch with us as well. Hello, Carol.
Hello.
Tell me, what on earth happened?
Well, it was the first delivery I've had with no bags. I didn't notice until I pulled the stuff out of the crate. It was covered in sort of black mouldy stuff, I think it was. I felt quite sick about it. I wouldn't put it in the fridge like it was because I don't want to contaminate what was already in the fridge. And I even cleaned the bottoms of the cans.
It's not just customers who are unhappy. Concerned staff have also contacted us with evidence of poor hygiene on Asda's deliveries. One of their drivers has sent us these pictures from the crates on his delivery rounds. I mean, look at this. You can see the crates look disgusting. So there's kind of like dried food at the bottom of this. There's a liquid there, what looks like spilt milk. Could have been your food that came in these. It's minging. The driver, who obviously doesn't want to show his face, says management have ignored his complaints.
There's no cleaning process in place. The crates are used over and over again, even after spillages. Most, if not all, are dirty, from food and things like smashed eggs.
Another worker told us he thinks the crates are so dirty, he's worried about his own family eating food delivered in them. Both drivers got in touch because they don't think Asda have learnt lessons since our last investigation on this in 2016. Back then, watchdog tests found that 6 in 10 Asda crates were microbiologically dirty. Staff were also placing them on muddy ground and some didn't know cleaning procedures.
We just designate someone when we've got a bit of spare time. But at the moment we haven't managed to get the hose working and the hose seems to be broken.
In response, Asda promised to up its game by training drivers to clean up spills on the move, using kits provided in every van, and stopping them putting crates on the ground where they pick up dirt. But what we're hearing suggests those things aren't happening. To find out for sure, we've gone undercover, sending a researcher to take a job as a delivery driver at a large Asda depot. In his training, they touched on cleanliness in stores, but nothing on deliveries. No talk of cleaning spills or keeping crates off the ground, even though all of that is meant to be Asda policy. And joining me to watch the footage of that is Barry Trevina, a chartered environmental health practitioner. On almost every shift over the course of just a week, our researcher found crates in a right old state. They look filthy.
Yeah, they don't look good, do they? These crates, really, they should be washed much more frequently.
Does it matter then if they're mucky?
It's a problem because there's going to be some bacteria in amongst that. So even if the food you're putting in is wrapped, the packages then become contaminated. And then when the customer handles the cans and the packages, then that's going to contaminate their worktop and fridge.
And it's not just food spills which are making the crates dirty.
Are you allowed to put these on the floor?
Drivers were still leaving crates on the ground. One of the very things Asda promised to put a stop to. So that's a crate on the grass there. That is in a puddle. Does it matter that the crates are touching the ground?
Well, I think it does, because there's bound to be bacterial contamination. There could be dog muck on that grass. And then those crates are, as we saw, stacked directly on top of other crates of food, which is going to contaminate the packaging.
But even if crates were kept off the ground, packets can split and liquids can spill, which is why in 2016 Asda assured us all vans would have those spillage kits. But on our researchers' shifts, none of them did, as this manager confirmed.
Have we got anything to clean up spills or anything like that? But there's no spillage things in the van?
And when milk leaked all over one crate...
Have we got a spillage kit? Anything to deal with spills? Yeah. No.
His colleague only had some old tissue to deal with it, and regardless of equipment, after separate spills of olive oil and cream, cleaning up just wasn't a priority.
Do we need to tell someone about that? Yeah, it's dripping inside of the van. Yeah.
They really need to clean up as they go. The cream is ideal for bacteria to multiply and moulds, spores and everything else. And the longer you leave it, the worse it gets.
Depot staff later said those spills would get sorted, but overall the policy for cleaning vans was unclear, and one driver told us they usually just stayed dirty.
But the vans are dirty as well. You get clean, but not as often as you'd expect.
And what about our old friends, the crates? Well, at no point did our researchers see any of them being washed, and the drivers weren't clear how often they were washed or by who.
Do the crates ever get washed?
How difficult is it really to wash a crate though?
The best way of doing that is through a proper crate wash facility, which is a bit like a big dishwasher. We would like to see 75 degrees for about 30 seconds at the crate to get an effective disinfection. And if they're going to go bagless, that's great, but they need to really up the game in terms of cleaning to make sure there's as little contamination as possible.
At this depot, it seems some of the rules Asda promised to put in place are either being ignored, forgotten, or just not passed on, even though scrapping bags has made the need for hygiene vital. Let's face it, dirty crates are not going to kill you, are they? But it's not on. You shouldn't get shopping that's mucky. Asda need to sort this out. They've had years to do it, haven't they? So next time, if you get shopping with any kind of filth on it, you know what to do. Make a fuss of this. Send us some pictures of it. Have a go at the company, because it's not on. Well, Asda didn't want to come in and explain itself on this. It's told us it's disappointed by our findings, but says they don't reflect the extensive policies and role-specific training that it has in place. Asda says our guy wasn't there long enough to receive this training.
He did 5 shifts. The store told us staff have been fully rebriefed on expectations and that food safety is its #1 priority. Vans are cleaned every week. Drivers should have sanitizer spray and clean up as they go. We didn't see any spray. It also says staff mustn't use dirty crates. They should be put to one side and a trolley used to avoid contact with the ground.
Yeah, there's more of all of their policies on our website, but Asda says it delivers almost 500,000 orders every week. And while some spillages and breakages can happen, it says the things we saw were isolated examples and the opinions of individual staff. But of course, the point here is that whatever policies Asda has in place, they're clearly not always being followed. Their own staff have told us that, and what we caught on camera, well, it backs it up, doesn't it?
We are not having a go at Asda staff. In fact, at the top of the show, you saw us deliver that message to Asda with the hashtag #AsdaBeCleaner. If you work at Asda, please get in touch. Tell us, are you being given the tools, the time and the training to keep these crates clean? If you're an Asda customer, or even if you're CEO, Roger Burnley, and you've got something to say, use that hashtag. We'd love to hear from you, Roger.
Well, you're already using that hashtag, which is great. Scotty's got in touch, said he has literally just placed an order with Asda and now he's a bit worried. Sarah's got in touch to say tonight's investigation is one of the reasons she stops in store. And Seb shops in store, sorry. And Seb said when they ditched the bags, his mum was worried this might happen, and he said that proves her point. So thank you so much for getting in touch. And you're still talking about our stories from last week, particularly our investigation into smoke alarms not waking kids. There's been big debates on that, especially on Facebook groups. Right after that report, Kat from Leicestershire tested the smoke alarm in her house and filmed what happened.